Hello, it's Wolf. Last time we spoke about hard external or soft internal styles or schools of martial arts, and today I want to talk about some practical aspects of this differentiation. And there are of course two factors that make a difference between these two modes of practicing, and this is speed and power. Power meaning muscular tension, but also relaxation. Yeah. However, soft and hard are the extreme ends of a spectrum. Yeah, which allows all kinds of degrees and gradations, even within a specific style. Yeah. I personally train in Shotokan karate and a bit in Okinawan Goju-ryu on the one hand, which is this hard part, and in Yang style Tai Chi on the soft side. And of course these two schools also have their peculiarities. So Shotokan is extremely fast, very strong, very direct, among the hardest styles in karate. On the other hand, Yang style is very fluid, soft, smooth, utterly relaxed. It's the softest among the Tai Chi style, so it's a very good contrast actually. But I want to talk about Shotokan first, and even if you do Shotokan, you can train it very lightly, can execute the techniques slowly and without power, or with maximum strength and a full-blown kime, a focus that is expressed by muscular tension of the whole body for a sec. And nowadays in training it is common that you switch between several levels of power and speed. And actually, traditionally, we know of two principles which were already established by Funakoshi Gichin when we execute the kata, which talk about exactly this point. We have on the one hand the term Chikara no Kyojaku, yeah, which means how much power, how much strength we exert when we do a certain technique. Yeah, it can be very strong, which is kyo, or it can be weak, which is jaku, and you can modulate the techniques along this principle. On the other hand, we have the saying waza no kankyu, and kankyu again means the slowness or quickness. That means the speed of a technique, which can again be modulated accordingly. And therefore, within a specific style, you can employ both modes. Yeah, you do not necessarily have to practice karate and Tai Chi, for instance. I mean, other soft arts like Bagua or even Aikido would be very commendable in order to soften up karate. But I have learned both karate and Tai Chi from Kanazawa Hirokazu Soke in my 20s, and I still consider him my mentor. And actually, in the foreword to his karate kata books, he writes the following: once every 3 times, the kata should be performed without any power, to learn how to tense and relax the proper muscles. Concentrating our ki below the navel area, where it is the most efficient, will help the body to relax and will clear the mind. Thus, every technique performed with either hands or feet will have a life of its own. I would like to suggest this form of training when performing a kata. So he actually recommends to do kata, if you run through them a few times, very slowly, very consciously, mindfully, every third time. And this change of the tempo is also recommended by this Tai Chi master, whose name in Japanese is read Jen Manrin, and this is a Japanese source, and he talks about his career, and he started with hard style Shaolin boxing and then went into Tai Chi, and he actually says that because when he started Tai Chi, he learned how to completely relax, and this utter relaxation made unencumbered speed possible. He says that because everything is so loose, the hips and the inner force, the ki, drive the moves and the limbs, which become much quicker. Therefore, he said, through his Tai Chi training, his boxing became much faster and nimbler. There is another Tai Chi master I want to quote. His name is Wang, and Kiev Kit. I don't know if I pronounce it correctly. Again, please forgive me if my Chinese, I do not speak Chinese. But he says the following, and he refers to this mythological figure we talked about who allegedly invented Tai Chi. And he says, when Zhang Sangfeng modified Shaolin Kung Fu into Wudang Long Fist, which later became Tai Chi Chuan, he elaborated on the soft circular movements of the fighting art so as to harmonize the comparatively hard Shaolin forms. And then he goes on, we generally find Tai Chi Chuan movements graceful and gentle, distinctly different from the fast, forceful movements of Shaolin Kung Fu. Tai Chi Chuan students are normally perform their movements slowly, as it is easier to develop the flow of internal energy with slow movements. But when they have become skillful in doing this, the movements can and should be fast and forceful, thus completing the harmonious cycle of yin, slow and gentle, and yang, fast and forceful. And exactly the same thing is also recommended by Yukawa Shintaro. Yeah. He wrote this book about karate and mindfulness. He is a clinical psychologist and a practitioner of both Tai Chi and karate. And he says we can do Tai Chi in karate fashion and on the other side go through a kata in Tai Chi Chuan or Tai Chi Chuan style. And he also recommends, for instance, to do certain katas, namely teki, knife hand chi, with an open hand instead with fists, because the open hand gives you a Tai Chi feeling. And you then, when you do it very slowly, you start to carefully listen to your body's voice, and this offers additional somatic perceptions and insights. And he also asserts, as the quintessence of an external art, yang, is internal, yin, and the quintessence of an internal art, yin, is external, yang. Ultimately, both arrive at the same place when you hone your karate, which is an external art, in a slow pace. Its degree of refinement as a martial technique and also as a meditation will rise. And in the end, strength, external hard yang, and subtleness, internal soft yin, will become one. Now, as I said, it is not necessary, if you do karate foremostly, to start with Tai Chi, but we can learn a lot of things from the Tai Chi people and from the way Tai Chi is executed. The thing is that when you start to move very slowly and with an introverted mind, Tai Chi in this sense fosters an acute self-awareness. You start to scan all the bodily sensations. Yeah, you can scan your whole somatic landscape, inner landscape, while you move. Yeah, and fill every cell of your body with consciousness. Yeah, and this will help you to explore the way how techniques are done in a most efficient and pleasant way and most natural way. And the thing is, yeah, in Shotokan and in sports karate in particular, everything is about speed. And even when I learned karate in the 1970s and 80s, yeah, it was all about who is faster, who is stronger. We wanted to get our points in competition and stuff. We almost never did do techniques slowly. And I think this is a mistake. I have to really recommend to do techniques in a very conscious, mindful, slow way. Particularly when you learn something new, yeah, you have to program your brain, build up the engrams that will afterwards tell you how to do the movements correctly. We talk about muscle memory, but this is nonsense. Muscles have no memory. It's the neuronal networks and those pathways of information in your brain which need to be reinforced and stabilized by repetitive training, by image training. And the thing is, when you program the movement slowly into your brain, you can also execute it fast afterwards. The thing is, if you're obsessed with speed and only train fast, what happens is that you are actually, when you do fast punches, you are aware of the start of the technique and where it ends. But what happens in between is not on the radar of your conscious apprehension. Yeah? That means you can actually do some very sloppy techniques and never realize that they are not quite correct or not quite as efficient as they could be. And actually it is much more cumbersome and takes much more time to amend or get rid of bad habits than to learn new movements correctly. Therefore, I would really advise you to do kata, kihon, basic techniques very slowly and then speed them up. You can definitely see that the quality of your training will enhance, and your body awareness, your kinesthetic sense, everything will be stronger. And therefore, even if you stick to one style, you can employ both modes, the soft and the hard, and a good balance between them is the best. And in this sense, I want to encourage us to train intelligently and mindfully, and to take it easy.